super nice, you know? I wish I was that nice. Well, Balder keeps on having dreams. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Well, you know what? Odin, back then, people had a lot of wives, I guess. Odin had a bunch of wives, but Frigg was his favorite. Well, Frigg is like, I need to help Balder. He's like the best. So Frigg's like I'm not joking. She literally asked everything ever in the universe, anywhere. Just don't hurt Balder. Well, all of that's okay. But Loki turns himself into an old lady, because he's kind of weird, and talks to Frigg. He's like, there must be something that you didn't, like, you know, bless or thank you. Please don't. Well, she's like, you know, to be honest, I didn't do one thing, which was, I can't remember exactly, so let me check. Oh, I remember, mistletoe. And that mistletoe, so Balder had like a blind brother, and so no, Loki's pretty evil by now, and so the blind one, he's like, hey, I'll guide you. He puts the mistletoe. Everybody's like, you know, trying to hurt Balder, and they're just having fun doing that because they know nothing's gonna do anything. And then Loki knows the secret, so he's like, hey, Balder's brother, the blind one, he's like, hey, you have to get in on some fun. So he's like, he guides a bow and arrow, but instead of the arrow, it's mistletoe. So guess what he does? He turns himself into, he doesn't turn himself into anything. I'm just tired of him turning himself into stuff. What happens is, okay, boom, it kills Balder. He's not gonna come back. I mean, is he gonna come back? Well, a lot of stuff happened, but Loki's in hiding. Balder's dead. Long story short, I'm talking weird today. Long story short, somebody tries getting Balder back from the dead, and the person's like, nope, I'm sorry, can't do it. But I can do it if you show that everybody likes Balder. Well, everybody does like Balder, except for Loki, who shifted himself into some weird, like, ogre or something, and said, nope, sorry, I don't like him. So then people are like, yeah, Loki, you're going down. So after a while, okay, Loki gets caught, and Balder is never going to come back. So Loki gets caught. They do, honestly, I'm not even being sarcastic now, they do what I would have done, which is just torture and horrible something. If he did that to somebody I really liked, they put him in a cave and strapped him down, and what they did is they put a snake above him who drops venom, but it doesn't kill him. So it's kind of like that, you know, so it's like really bad, and he's never gonna escape. So he's down there forever. And what I'm telling you is all connected. And you are like, how is it connected? Well, let me tell you how it's connected. Loki was like, in Ragnarok, everything was just evil. And there is one thing I didn't tell you. Because, you know, the gods had always been good. They were like, okay, I won't ever hurt you. Because they did that thing to Loki, which I mean I would have done, it still was going back on his blood brother, Odin. Odin was going black on Loki. So finally something horrible had happened. The ground split open. People started fighting each other, and it's connected now. And it's okay. I talked about Ragnarok. Okay, this is the end, the Ragnarok. Loki and Heimdall are angry at each other, but finally Loki has a reason to kill Heimdall. Loki kills Heimdall, Heimdall kills Loki, just perfect strikes, I guess. And what happens is, well, that happens. They die, they both die. Well, Loki, they actually have a chapter called Loki's Monstrous Brood. I don't know why I remembered that, but I guess I did. It's actually called Loki's Monstrous Brood. And it's talking about Loki's family is hideous. I mean, they're just the ugliest you ever gonna see. They're hideous. Like, really. You wouldn't like yourself if you saw these people. Well, Loki is ugly. I mean, he's not ugly. Odin's like, oh, he's kind of good looking. But no, I mean, to me, Loki's honestly ugly. I don't like how elves look. And he's not an elf, but he looks like one. Well, Loki has a wife who's a Jotun, who's just hideous. And what they do to her, I'm pretty sure what they do to her is they make her the ruler of the underworld. Or it might actually be the person who is half dark and half light on the other side. And I actually think it is. So there's a person who's hideous. Honestly, I don't know exactly what they mean. She's honestly very hideous on both sides, but one side is black and one side is white. And it's just like the lighting, but it's all the time. I don't even know what the deal is. But I think she's the person who owns the underworld. And, because they can't go back on his family. So they have to do something with it. And so they do that to that person. And then he has this wolf son, or whatever, wolf something. And he was his family, one of his family members is a wolf. And they're they keep on kind of luring him. Hey, maybe you're so strong that you can't get out of this chain. We'll totally let you out. Well, they don't let him out, after a while, but then someone's hand gets chopped off by the wolf. But in long story short, with the wolf, they trap him he has a dragon, snake thing. And they're like, hey, how about you become the Asgardian serpent? Huh? Good deal, right? Well, he gets in the water. Okay, they don't trick him. That one guy, they don't trick, okay? That's all of his family. Well, they don't really like the Asgardian serpent. But this is also connected to to Ragnarok. In Ragnarok, Thor dies from the venom of the Asgardian serpent, and Thor kills the serpent, and they both die. Everybody's killing each other, because that's just everything is so bad. People are being bad, and honestly, the real person, if I'm not just thinking about it, but now, but the real person who started Ragnarok is Loki, because he killed Balder. I'm pretty sure that's his name. He killed Balder and Heimdall, and all of this started happening because he just made everything kind of bad, Even though technically Odin and Loki are the main stuff, because Odin is the person who trapped up Loki, but Loki is the person who started it all. And yeah, and also another thing, Frey married this beautiful Jotun maiden, I'm pretty sure. And long story short, okay, he married her, but he had to give up all this stuff. And she was Gerd. Well, he had to give her all of this stuff. And he gave her his special golden sword. well, what happens with that is Gerd has the golden sword, and I don't think many of the women fought, and I don't know if any of them fought, and I don't think they did. But Frey had to use like antlers when he fought. He just had to find some antlers because he didn't have anything. He gave her everything. So he dies. Just someone kills him. I mean, that's kind of, I don't think they say who, but someone kills Frey, not Freya, Frey the boy, and he dies, and all of them die, but like, it's like very intense. Like Ragnarok is my favorite part, because I mean, the illustrations are probably my favorite illustrations are in the part that's Ragnarok. It's honestly kind of hilarious, but it's awesome. Like, I love drawing, but this just makes me want to get up and draw right now. There's this big scene where where Thor is getting killed by the serpent, and he's killing the serpent, and in the same scene it shows Odin on his, I think, eight-legged horse riding, straight into like the wolf who they tied up, but he didn't die. And it's honestly quite beautiful. I don't know if you can see all of it, but it's very, very cool. It's like Odin's like, oh, I'm gonna fight that wolf because that wolf's out and we tied it up. And this is all during Ragnarok. Everyone's just going crazy fighting. And honestly, Ragnarok didn't last that long. They all died. So he is like, oh yeah, I got this wolf. And then, it's kind of hilarious. He just rides into the wolf's mouth and dies. Because like literally, he's getting all like set up. I'm gonna get this. And they don't say that, but I mean, like, really, if you're gonna kill a wolf, you're probably like a ginormous wolf too. And Heimdall blows his ginormous horn because everybody starts fighting. Everybody, because everything is crazy. And so this is really kind of insane. There is a part called, I think, Heimdall the War Tree, and I'm not looking at it, so you can hopefully believe me. It's called Heimdall the War Tree, and they're it's kind of there's a big old tree, okay, and there's a little lake, and there's these people who spin thread, and oh, all this happens to the person, but we spin the thread, and there's a bunch of separate colors. What happens to the person is a separate color, but they're in the tree, and the tree is the world's life. It's life, just life. And when that tree dies, it's kind of life is shattering, I guess, because there's a little lizard, or dragon, they probably would want me to say, that bites at the root of the tree. And that would be horrible. Oh no, the tree's gonna die. Well, that little the little pond I was talking about, that's next to the tree, boom, they splashed a little on the tree, voila. It's a brand new tree, it's all good. Well, in Ragnarok, what happens is the tree just cracks. The dragon eats the roots and the tree cracks. The sky opens up with flames. And I know this sounds very intense, and I think it would be very intense. The sky opens up in flames, and people come out of the sky with flaming swords and stuff, because there's probably a guy who was the sky or whatever. It's yeah, the sky opened up, blah blah blah. there are people and they all started burning, whatever. But that was very intense, and it's another beautiful drawing of the sky opening up in flames, and it's quite pretty. And you can see like some people on flames. And man, we've been talking about a lot. This is a long video, but let's see what else we can talk about. Well, I guess before we finish, we can talk some about a few more people. Maybe not even people, but we can talk about one more thing, which is the very beginning. Now, the very beginning was the weirdest part of, I don't know, it kind of ties with the worms being the gnomes, and the beginning is also weird. It kind of ties with that being weird. Darlaire's Book of Norse Myths. This is what you see. Honestly, the beginning doesn't do it justice, because like when I read this, I'm like, am I even gonna like this book if this is how weird it is? Okay, some books are weird but great, but seriously, I never seen such a weird thing. I'm quoting it from the book. The first guides and giants. Early in the morning of time, there was no sand, no grass, no lapping wave. There was no earth, no sun, no moon, no stars. There was Niflheim, a waste of frozen fog. And Muspelheim, a place of raging flames. And in between the fog and fire, there was a gaping pit. This is a very weird word. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Ginung Agap. Okay, it's very weird. I don't know if anybody would be able to say it, but obviously somebody was if they made this up. For untold ages, crackling embers from Muspelheim and crystals of ice from Niflheim rolled around in the dark and dismal pit. This is that pit I'm talking about. As they rolled together, faster and faster, fire kindled a spark of life within the ice. An enormous, ugly shape rose roaring from the Guggen. Okay, that weird word. It was the frost giant, Ymir. Probably like Mir or something, because, it's probably a silent Y. But first of the race of the Jotuns. At his side, a hornless ice cow came mooing from the pit. So two things came out of the pit. This ugly frost giant, Jotun, Ymir, who is hideous, he comes out. And then the other thing, ice cow, I bet he has some good milk if he's that type of cow, but icy milk would be good actually. And a hornless ice cow came mooing from the pit. Together, Jotun and cow lived on the rim of that weird word, Ginnungagap. The Jotun did not lack for food. 4 rivers of snow white. Okay, this sounds delicious. 4 rivers of snow white froth flowed like milk from the huge ice cow's udder. Ymir drank and drank and grew to a towering height. As for the cow, she found plenty of food, licking the salted brim of Ginnungagap. And honestly, I'm getting a little hung up with the milk, but that milk sounds delicious. And it'd be so frothy, so milky, so icy. So good. Oh, actually, remember, I have a new channel that's definitely not the best channel, but it's me reviewing food. I just changed the name to Sir Eats a Lot, and it's just me reviewing food. My what I think about some food. Restaurants. Maybe I'll do some food later. But it just reminded me, milk and stuff. But it's not a great channel, but I'll try to do a better channel later. For a long time, there were only Mir and the cow. Then Mir fell into a deep sleep. While he slept, a male and a female Jotun came to life in the warmth in his left armpit, and a troll with 6 heads sprouted in his feet. These monstrous creatures grew quickly and had offspring of their own. They were all big and rough, and Mir was the biggest and wildest of them all. The ice cow also brought about life. As she licked and licked, her tongue grew warm. For she had to lick hard to make enough food for Ymir and his brood. Then under his warm tongue, a head of hair sprouted on his briny brim. By the way, this is actually insane looking. The cow is licking salt, and a head is just coming out of the salt. That's super hairy. It's a ginormous beard, big mustache, okay eyebrows, and a really big head of hair. So they're saying a head of hair sprouted on the briny brim, and as she went on licking, a face appeared. The cow went right on licking. Shoulders and chest came forth, then legs, and at last out stepped a whole new creature. He was straight and quite handsome, not ugly like the Jotuns and Trolls. He had a son who was even more handsome. And the son took for his wife a beautiful Jotun maiden. For it sometimes happened that an ugly frost giant would have a lovely daughter. She bore her husband 3 sons who were so fair that radiance spread from them and lit up the darkness around them. And by the way, that Jotun maiden practically made everything. She kind of started it all. Because I'm about to say it, but listen up. Her 3 sons were the original Aesir guides. So just listen up. He had a son who was even more handsome. Okay, back to where we were. She bore her husband 3 sons who were so fair that a radiance spread from them and lit up the darkness around them. They were the first of the great Aesir gods. Their names were Odin, Honir, and Loder, spirit, will, and warmth. They were high and very holy, and they had the power to create a world. But before the 3 gods could begin to create, they had to get rid of that ugly frost giant. And I added ugly, by the way. Ymir, who had always been wild, and old age had made him worse. So the 3 young Aesir guides went against the age-old Jotun, because technically he was age-old, because he started when, life started, because he was life, kinda. I'm near the end of this first chapter. They slew Ymir and pushed his huge hulk into Ginnungagap. So much brine flowed from his runes that it filled the pit and flooded over the rim. The cow and all Ymir's offspring were drowned except for 2, a very strong Jotun and his mate. They clambered up onto ice floes and went to live on a wild outer shores of the sea made by Ymir's brine. The Aesir did not pursue them, and almost right after this icebound wilderness, Jotunheim was teeming with their offspring. These uncouth Jotuns and Trolls hated the Aesir for what they had done to their kinsmen. They watched as the handsome gods made a new world and raged among themselves. And that is the end of the chapter and this episode. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and also do check out my other channel. It's quite good. I'm not going to say that because it's not the best channel, and I said that earlier, because it definitely needs to get a few steps up, I guess. It's pretty cool. Well, this has probably been my longest video, and my arms and my legs are getting numb from doing this for so long. I'm not joking, okay? I need to stand up and do something. Well, it has been fun doing this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because this took me a while to make. So reads a lot says goodbye. Probably didn't see the whole thing. It's a long video. You probably don't care to watch such a long video. I like Norse myths, and I hope you do after watching this. And if you got this far, please like and subscribe. It took a long time to do this. And thanks for watching this. If you actually got this far, or if you just skipped to the end, it's just as good because you gave me a view. And you could like this or subscribe to this. So, Reads a Lot says goodbye. For real this time.